Hello everybody and welcome along to the March 2026 update from Clydebridge Station, and I hope none of you have ended up in hospital suffering from shock after the arrival of a multiple unit at Clydebridge. In this month's update we're going to be removing some vegetation near the depot. We'll be installing an advertising hoarding on the bus garage. We'll also be looking at 47541, the Queen Mother, as the 47 in focus this month as part of my Me 47 celebrations for 2026. There'll be a preview of Model Rail Scotland, which I'll be attending on Saturday the 28th of March, and there'll be shout outs right towards the end of the video. If you've got any comments, queries or suggestions, please leave them in the comments box below. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon so you can be notified of when new videos appear on this YouTube channel. There's at least one per calendar month. And also, if you haven't already done so, please consider following Clydebridge Station on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky and X as well, and your support would be much appreciated. Remember, this channel does not have any Patreon aspects to it, so you won't have to pay a penny to see the content. Well, if that's whetted your appetite, all aboard, let's go. You'll notice immediately that I've actually removed one of the structures that was on here, and that was an old sort of prefabricated hut that was here. That's necessary because there'll be another structure going in there in the future. But the main focus that we're starting off with this month is removing all of this vegetation here. It doesn't look right at all, but also it needs to come up for the track alterations that I'm going to be doing here. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel and don't know what I'm going to be planning, is this point is going to be moved further up to here, and there'll be a new point going in here that will then allow trains to come into platform 5 and then trains to come this way into platform 6, giving wider space in here because it's a bit too tight at the moment. But in order to do that, this has to all come up. Now, not all of it is going to come up, but a lot of it will be coming up, and I think you can actually see what the problem is here. That does not look right at all. Normal gravel would have been more sufficient. And plus the fact these lamp posts should have been drilled in by me a few years ago. They haven't. I'll be ordering new ones from PD Mash Models. The fence is also getting taken up because it's going to... This fence here, I've got an equivalent fence again from the same manufacturer, Scale Model Scenery, so it'll be going in. This fence is coming up, and I've got a new one also from Scale Model Scenery. There'll be no ballast going down here until I've got this all sorted out here. What I can tell you is that as part of this plan, it'll also result in an alteration here at the station, because I'll be able to take this bit up and put down a brand new full width platform and a brand new full width platform ramp. The latter I do have, the former I need to order. It'll make the whole thing look a lot better. Some things will be kept, but some things will have to go. This will be kept, for instance. I'll go over there now. I'll see if I can salvage the Scale Model Scenery fence, but if I don't, it's not a big issue because I've already got another one there. Things like this lamp post from PD Mash Models will have to come up too, because I need to clear all of this in order to then be satisfied I've got enough of a space to do the track work. I'll clear up through here, and then I'll see where I am. And to remove all of this is a very simple job. You just simply put in drops of fresh water, let it soak in, and remove it. You're basically doing something similar to laying ballast, the only difference being this time you're not putting in PVA glue. Well, that's that vegetation and pathway all cleared out from here. Obviously I can't put any more scenic material down until the track layout is sorted out here. I actually used in the end a flat-headed screwdriver and didn't even need to put water in to actually get it up, so it's done quite well. And I've done some work over here removing some of the stuff here as well, so I'm quite happy with how that's turned out. What I'm now going to do is try and work out the track plan for here, and that's going to affect these three running lines. So the rolling stock that's in platform 4 will be moved into another platform temporarily while I do that. The unit can stay in platform 5, I'll send it down to the fiddle yard later on. But by getting the track plan sorted here, it'll do two things. It'll let me get the track back into place and start to make this bit look a lot more better. And the second thing it'll do is, by working out the track plan, I can actually work out what other stuff I might need to end up buying. I already know what I'm needing platform wise from scale model scenery. Justin, if you're watching, you'll be getting a little order soon. Another thing that I must point out as well is that I've kept some of the signs that I took out. Whether I actually reuse them or use new signs, I haven't decided yet. I've now got the track plan in my head as to what I want to do here. This point, or certainly an equivalent one, if this stud doesn't come up properly, is going to move into here, and these dropper wires will have to be moved probably to there. Then there'll be a short piece of track on a curve to this point, which will then allow that track to come in here and this track to slew well clear. So it'll come on a curve, there we have it, and that's what I'm saying, that'll go into there, and this track will come curve round, and there'll be a curve as I say, but there'll be enough access for here now to allow a full width platform. Now if I put the camera down there, by having this platform number 6 now full width as well, it gives me what I call that buzzword or buzz phrase, operational flexibility. And what I mean by that is, I could now have full length trains with a locomotive at the buffer stops in platform 6. Previously I couldn't do that because the platform wasn't long enough, but now I could have, for instance, an intercity rake in platform 5, and I could have the intercity charter rake in platform 6 with a loco at the buffers and another loco down here. So that's what it gives me, operational flexibility. And therefore I can also work out from here where I can start to position things, such as the pavements, or the walkways that will take people to the platforms from the depot area out of sight there. Or it can also give me the idea of where I need to put signals. I'll be getting dummy signals from West Hill Wagon Works at Model Rail Scotland, so you will see those in action at some point this year, hopefully. I can also tidy up this area here with the track running straight and remove this piece of cork here. I've got spare cork. I can also tidy up this bit here too. The track doesn't quite go onto the cork properly there. It will do once I've relayed it. Now if you're wondering why track work is actually so expensive and time consuming in the real railway, you just try doing it on your own model railway layout and you'll soon get the idea. I've kept this opening here, by the way, for the aforementioned working out where things go, because I believe that once I have this in place, I will be able to have a walkway going over here and over here, and then coming up here and over here to get into platforms 1 and 2. But obviously I'd like to be able to get the signals in place first to be able to make sure of that. Later on in the programme, I'm going to come back and actually do the track work with you. We'll actually get it underway. But in the meantime, let's go and talk about 47541. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. There you go. I don't know if I can actually say that about my layout. But yes, the Queen Mother really is on here, named by that very popular member of the royal family who lived to 100. She was a really popular lady wherever she went. And she was actually involved in a little piece of royal family railway history as well. I'll tell you about that in a minute. 47541, as you see here, began life in 1964 as D1755, entering service at Swansea. She was originally meant to be allocated the number under tops of 47161, but she actually went straight in for electric train supply conversion, so 47161 was never carried. And at that same time she lost her two-tone green livery for BR blue livery and became 47541. Moving around the network and various allocations, she settled down to a new home of Inverness, and in 1982 was selected to be named the Queen Mother. The ceremony took place on the 20th of October 1982 at Aberdeen Station, the locomotive still carrying BR blue livery. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, named the locomotive, and it was the first time ever that a member of the royal family had personally named a locomotive. In 1985 it gained large logo blue livery, but a year later was repainted into the red striped ScotRail livery as seen here, and its name ensured that Inverness Depot, the home for this locomotive, always kept it in pristine condition, no matter where it worked. With the introduction of Class 156 sprinters onto the Aberdeen Inverness route, its duties became a little bit more restricted in 1989, and a year later she was back on that route for a short period when 156s had to be drafted in elsewhere for standby until the 158s arrived. After the 158s and 156s arrived, she was moved from Inverness to Crewe Diesel Depot, still retaining her Queen Mother name, and she had a few months working the North Trans Pennine route from Newcastle to Liverpool. She wasn't the only red striped ScotRail liveried locomotive to cover that duty, because 47642 Strathyla was also a regular on that route at the time, and these two locomotives between them were regular performers until Sprinters 158s took over there in January 1991. She was denamed at that point, and the name was transferred to 47703, which was in Parcels livery. And this locomotive was originally meant to be withdrawn for spares, but in an incredible twist of fate, she was taken back into use by Rail Express Systems and was given the name Reservist and became 47773 with RES's push-pull equipment for use with propelling control vehicles for shunting movements. She would also gain the nose end jumper cables on both ends. She regained her name, the Queen Mother, without ceremony in 2002 at Towton Depot. I wonder if it's the only locomotive to have actually received the same name twice. Please let me know. and 2 years later, in 2004, she was withdrawn. She lingered on in storage until she was purchased by a company called Vintage Trains in 2007, and she was returned to her former stamping grounds, having at one time been based down at Bescott and Saltley in 1969 to July 1970. Under the ownership of Vintage Trains, she's been repainted into her original two-tone green livery and given her original number back, D1755. She's often found at the back of steam-hauled rail tours to provide electric train heating, etc. And Vintage Trains, got a little request for you. How about giving her name back again, the Queen Mother? Well, the Bachmann example I've got here was purchased on eBay, and it's a Rails limited edition one. Now, I don't have the actual limited edition certificate with me, that's back up in the house, but this is the second attempt I've made to purchase this locomotive. On a Facebook buy and sell models group, somebody had one up and it had a lot of weathering on it, and it was supposed to have been professionally weathered by TMC, but it did not say that on the box. I have to say it didn't look professionally weathered, so I walked away from it. This one has come up and it doesn't have the etched plates or crest fitted. The etched plates will get fitted eventually, but the crest I'm just going to leave as is a printed one there. Now, she carries the attractive Intercity Executive livery, but with ScotRail branding, hence red striped ScotRail, in contrast to the blue striped ScotRail livery that the push-pull 47/7s and 47461 gained. She was a really popular loco at Inverness, and that is one of the reasons why Rails probably went and made this limited edition. She's a very good runner, and she's in excellent unweathered condition, and she will remain so. The Highland Rail stag in yellow is accurately portrayed. One thing to watch out for is that some people have tended to use the renumbering a loco into one of the ones that had the red striped ScotRail livery, is they tended to put a larger Highland Rail stag on the locomotive. This is actually the correct size of how it should be, and that should also be applied to a 37/4 or a 47/4 in large logo blue. So that's been accurately picked out there. The crest above the Queen Mother name is absolutely correct as well. One thing I do notice with this Bachmann limited edition, and I don't know how well the camera can pick it up, is it's got an open drop light window there. Now, I've had a look at some other locomotives in my fleet and they have all got the same. Somebody commented that that was incorrect and that was just a one-off for a Bachmann, but having looked at some of my other Bachmann 47/4s, most of them do have it, not all of them. 47484, for instance, has its drop light window shut. That's how Bachmann produced it, and it doesn't do the model any harm. This is actually the first red striped ScotRail locomotive to enter service here at Clydebridge. Whether it will be the last, I don't know, but this is, for those of you wondering, is Class 47 number 37 here on Clydebridge station. Try saying that in a hurry. Class 47 number 37. Now, hopefully, if I can get the track work done I'm talking about doing in this video, I may actually use this locomotive at the end to haul a train into the newly reconfigured platform 6. But that's later on in the programme, and speaking of the track work, that is where we're going to return now for another look. With it raining outside, I was actually hoping to do some gardening today at the time of filming. I'm stuck here on the layout doing some work, so it's well just getting the track work done here. I've already explained to you about how it's going to be done and the changes I'm going to make, so it's now time to start getting the track up. I'm hoping to reuse all of this here. It would be a case of bending this back the way. This point I don't think I'll be using again. It seems to have had a fault that prevented power going into one area, and that's why I had to use dropper wires there. They're going to come up now, and when I put the point in here, I'll get another point in here. This track is going to get reconfigured, so this is actually going to come out now, because the new track will have to go on a slightly different alignment to meet up here. This section of cork will have to come up, and new cork will have to get laid to match the new track alignment. And likewise here, this cork will come up and there'll be new cork going down to match the new track alignment. And how I'll do that is I'll do the track alignment first, and then I'll get on with the putting the cork down and then putting the track back down. While I'm on the topic of redoing things, obviously if I lift this up here for a minute, this will all have to come up at some point in the future. There is actually going to be a new signal box that I'm going to scratch build and put in there. So this will all be coming up at some point in the future and getting redone for the third or umpteenth time. That's the track up, and I've been experimenting with various options, and I've come up with this one now of having a set of points here, and that leads directly into platform 4, and the next set of points immediately here, with one coming round into platform 5 and this one snaking its way around to platform 6. So it looks like that this is going to be the favoured option now, and it just means that I'm going to have to put some more cork down on here and then get the old cork removed. What it also means is that there'll be a bit more space between the running lines now. The track here will have to just have a wee kink coming back down to this part. I can live with that. And likewise, this track as it comes round will have a wee kink into there. Again, I can live with that. And this track will have a little S to come into here. So that's the plan I'm now going to go with. The task I've now got is to get the track cut and put into place here, and then get the track plan satisfied, and then get the cork down, and then get the track on top of the cork. Well, that's the locomotive in. 47701 becomes the first train on Clydebridge station to haul a train, first loco on Clydebridge station to haul a train into platform 6 with another train, with another loco at the other end of the train to take the stock back out. Now, the only thing that's really going to be a problem is possibly here when I come to do the platform ramp. I'm not exactly sure how I'll get around that, but I do have a spare platform ramp, so when I come to take this up, I'll then be able to work out where the platform ramp will end and where and get the access for the full length platform. But I may have to end up actually customising my own piece with a steeper ramp. It may well be that I have to do it that way, but that is now platform 6 fully laid. All that's got to be done now, you can actually notice, is that the track has got to be glued down with copy decks, and that'll be allowed to be done over a period of a few days. And then I'll cut away all of the surplus cork, because I won't need all of this. Now you'll notice platforms 4 and 5 have not been relayed yet, and why I haven't done that is if I was to put that there, that curve point. That is going to be, to me, that might be, that's going to be possibly too sharp a turn to come in here, but I'll certainly try it. I've got plenty spare flexi track. Another option I'm looking at is to have the point here, and the third option is to have the point something like that there, so it comes away and the turns aren't too sharp. But platform 6 is now operational again, and as I say, it's just really a case now of gluing the track into position and then getting work done on this platform. And you can actually see here, because I've also got the locomotive just slightly overhanging, I've got to make sure that I can get the Mark III coach in here. Now, an alternative might be to, as I say, fashion my own piece of platform ramp using this and keeping a hold of this one. But obviously this would have to come up temporarily to allow me to install a full width platform. So I've got, as I say, various options I can do. I may, as I say, may have to fashion my own one up. For 1 year only, Model Rail Scotland is not taking place in its traditional end of February date, but it's being held 1 month later in March 2026. The show, however, will take place again at the Scottish Event Campus at Finisterre in Glasgow in Hall 3. There's a link to the show website below, and you'll also be able to get ticket information and opening times. Advanced ticket holders will get entry half an hour before the doors open. This year's show is the 60th anniversary of the first ever show, and it's come a long way since when it first started, moving to a hotel at one point as well. This year there are various layouts from various clubs and people in various gauges as well. The Clyde Valley Railway is a 009 layout set in Cornwall, and it's Tim Cooling who is running that layout. David Watson and Chris Scobie will have Westbourne. You may have seen David's series on his TT120 layout Westbourne on Dean Park Station YouTube channel. Burnroyd Works is a 00 gauge layout set from 2010 to the present day, and that's Chris Burnage who's running that layout. There's also Glen Oakle. Now this is set in the 1950s to 1960s and is an N gauge layout, and it's set in and around the Menstrie area of central Scotland, and that is the Stirling and Clackmannan District Model Railway Club. And Smallburn is a UK steam diesel layout set in a fictional village in the Ayrshire countryside, and the exhibitor of that is the Cooper and District Model Railway Club. This is a small selection of the layouts that you're going to see at Model Rail Scotland if you do attend. Trade exhibitors will include the Cavalex models, Acura Scale, Shedring Hobbies, Video Scene, West Hill Wagon Works, who will be getting some stuff from at the show, and there'll be other retailers that make regular visits here like Pennine Models and Rainbow Railways. They'll all be there as well. Other exhibitors will include Rail Riders, another trade layout. Hornby Magazine will also be there. And if you fancy a wee ice cream, there'll be an ice cream van there as well. No kidding you. I'll have a video from the show on either the 28th or the 29th of March. It depends upon what time I get back home from the show. Making its debut at a model railway show this year will be my new Clydebridge station hoodie. Now, it might be partly obscured by my sunflower lanyard telling you that I'm autistic, but the hoodie will have a photo of a Class 47/7 in ScotRail livery, and it'll have a red background and black hoodie, and I'll have my big spiky hair as usual. So if you do see me, please come and say hello. It'll be an honour to meet you. And do please also remember, I'll be there with my camcorder, so if there's any of you that are watching this right now who are unable to make the show, please do not worry. I am attending the show on your behalf. Well, just before we wrap up this month's programme, it's a shout out, and the first one I'm going to start off with is Dan's Model Railways, and he does a series called Trash to Track, and his most recent one is called Hornby R30328 Caerphilly Castle. So Dan's Model Railways, if you could give him a check out please. And by the way, when I tell you to check these people out, also give them a follow too. Okay, do give them a follow. The next layout to give a shout out to is Woodhill Park. He's just recently finished doing a coal mine on his layout. It's set in the same era as mine, BR sectorisation, and the coal mine's quite interesting because Walton-on-Trent was looking in his December update at coal traffic as well, and my dad was a coal miner, so I'm pretty sure if my dad had still been alive, he'd have been quite interested in that. And one more layout to give a shout out to is West Blyth MPD, set in the northeast of England in the BR Blue era. So if you could give a check out please to West Blyth MPD. A couple of shout outs to people who aren't model railways. And the first one I'm going to give a shout out to is a band from Liverpool called the Kowloons. Now, just at the shot on the right there, 47541 is getting ready to haul the TransPennine train to Liverpool. And no doubt the band, which had been performing the previous night in the function suite at Clydebridge Rugby Union Club, are on that train as well. But yeah, the Kowloons, they come from Liverpool, so please give them a check out. And also, another check out please is to a drummer who follows my layout on Instagram, Ben Roberts Drums. He's from Birmingham. He performs in a couple of bands including Wooden Dog, Ben Roberts Drums. So if you could give him a check out please, that would be much appreciated. Next month's update will see me finishing off this track here. I'll have it all worked out exactly off camera, and I'll show you on camera. We'll be putting it all together, and also we'll be looking at some of the stuff that I bought at Model Rail Scotland as well, and we'll also be taking a look at this piece here to see if I can actually fashion my own ramp so it's a little bit steeper. If anybody's watching this, could you answer this question for me? Could I get away with putting steps at this point here instead of a ramp, or could a steep ramp suffice instead? Please let me know in the comments about that. And that completes the March 2026 update. Oh, and one other thing, during April there'll also be a modelling idea video coming up for you to all enjoy. We'll be going to a place that's very dear to my heart, Steps, because my late mum and myself found some long lost family in Steps in 2017, so a place that's very dear to my heart. So that's your modelling idea. Coming up on screen shortly will be a couple of video links and a button in the middle for you to subscribe, and I would appreciate it if you would do subscribe. And I shall see you either next month here on the YouTube channel, or at Model Rail Scotland. I look forward to your company then. Whatever you're doing, please do take care of yourselves, won't you? And enjoy your lets, and we'll see you soon. Cheerio.